I don't have to move over. Move the camera over.
Shalom.
Shalom. No, that way, Josh. No, that way. You move. Okay. All right, that's right.
Joel,
You all right? Let's say hello.
Shalom, everybody.
All
This
praises to the Most High.
The Sabbath of the Most High
Awesome.
again.
I hope you
Coming to you from Jacksonville, Florida.
yes.
We do thank and praise always the Most High, Ahayah.
We hope you were really
Bahashem,
blessed last
Yashayah,
night. We hope you were blessed last night with Friday Night Sabbath. Go ahead, Josh.
Through the last 5 years, we've been blessed to continue to teach the truth of the Most High, the true truth of, and the more we understand, and the more we look into things, the more enlightening we become through the study of history and understanding of how the system we live in works and was built. If you are new to listening to us, we teach the truth that the so-called Negroes and Hispanics are the true Hebrews according to the Bible, and that the people that are looked at as the Jews today, the white people in Israel, are not the Jews. They are the synagogue of Satan, and they are the seed of their father, the devil.
Well, they are not the Hebrews. They are not the bloodline. They say they are Jews and are not.
Mm-hmm.
So that word Jew is really actually they are Judaizers. They're from the Khazarian mountains. They have nothing to do with the bloodline of the chosen people of the Most High. The chosen people of the Most High are the Hebrews, the Hebrew Israelites. Okay?
Right. So before we go into the Bible, I want to share a little information, and I forgot about this information. This is
Hebrews to Negroes.
Hebrews to Negroes, Volume 1. Part 2, Volume 1.
Right, okay.
This is in chapter 4, under the heading, Jews admit the truth about themselves. This first article was written by a Jewish rabbi, Max Lee Raphael. Jews also took an active part in the Dutch colony slave trade. Indeed, the bylaws of the Richeville and for each Negro slave Benjamin Brazilian Jew produced from the West India Company, slave auctions were postponed if it fell upon a Jewish holiday. In Corsica, the 17th century, as well as in British colonies of Barbados and Jamaica in the 18th century, Jewish merchants played a major role in the slave trade. In fact, all the American colonies, whether French, Martinique, British, or Dutch, Jewish merchants frequently dominated.
So it was really the elite, the Jewish elite. Jewish people, not the Hebrews, the Jewish elite of that time controlled the slave trade with their money and their resources.
Participated in the triangular trade that brought slaves from Africa, the West Indies, and encouraged them from which in turn was taken. Okay, this is an article from the Jews and Judaism in the United States, a documentary history, and this is This was published in 1983 by Mr. Raphael in is the editor of the American Jewish History. So this isn't some random person. This is a historian telling you that they essentially controlled the slave trade.
That's right. That's right.
Now, here's another quote. Ira Rosenwacky. In Charleston, South Carolina, and Richmond, Virginia, and Savannah, Georgia, the large majority, over 3/4 of the Jewish households, contained one or more slaves. In Baltimore, one out of 3 households were slaveholding. In New York. Okay.
And Hosea.
Now listen to this. Jacob Rader Marcus. Although in the 18th century and the early 19th century, Jews in the North were to own black servants. In the South, few plantations owned by Jews were tilled by slave labor. In 1820, over 75% of all Jewish families in Charleston, Richmond, and Savannah owned slaves. As domestic servants, almost 40% of all Jewish households in the United States owned slaves. This is Detroit's Wayne University Press, 1989, page 586, United States Jewry. One more. Rabbi Barton W. Cohen. It would seem to be realistic to conclude that any Jew who would afford to own slaves and had need of services would do so. Jews participated in every aspect the process of the exploration of the defenseless blacks, the Jews in slavery in the Old South. So this rabbi said that the Jewish people in the United States participated in every aspect of the slave trade. They owned pretty much all the plantations, and they owned the slave auction blocks. This is from Hebrews to Negroes 2, verse chapter 4, page 44. And the last quote I read was from the quote is taken from the Jewish Encyclopedia Experience in America. Selected studies from the publications of the American Jewish Historical Society.
Wow. Okay. So this is Hebrews to Negroes. Wake up, Black America. You need to get this book. Wait, you need to get this book. Wake up, Black America. Okay.
So as we always do, we like to drop some nuggets of information.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can research this stuff for yourself online. Just type in a Jewish Historical Society.
That's right.
And you'll find all the articles that I probably just read, and plenty more about how they contributed and controlled the slave ships, auction blocks, and the majority of the plantations. And that is how they built the wealth of America through slavery. Joel 3.
Okay.
And 1.
Joel 3, verse 1. The Most High judgment to the nations.
Uh-huh.
For behold, in those days And in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my
people to Israel, to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's going to plead with them there for his what?
My people.
For all people.
For my people.
For all races.
For my people.
Read.
And for my heritage.
My what?
My heritage.
I thought everybody, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, for my heritage.
For my what? For my, excuse me, for my heritage.
Israel.
Who?
Israel.
Everybody.
Israel.
Read.
Whom they have scattered among the nations.
Whom they have what?
Whom they have scattered among the nations.
We just read that out of again, Hebrews and Negroes, chapter 4, volume 2, chapter 4, page 44, about how the Jewish people, elite, owned and ran the slave trade.
And parted my land.
And so after they were involved in the slave trade, they ended up parting the land and saying, buying off the if you research the Balfour Declaration was pretty much how the Jewish people got the land of Israel through the Rothschilds, blackmailing the British Lord Balfour and the British government in World War II. So in World War I, so the British would win the war because the Rothschilds bought America off through the Federal Reserve. The Rothschilds, the Jewish Rothschild banking family.
That's right.
Brought the Americans in, so the British would win the war.
Wow.
So because of that, the Germans could have actually were going to win the war, but essentially they didn't want the Rothschilds didn't want the Rothschilds would have backed the Germans, but the Germans didn't want the Rothschilds involved, the Jewish people, the Jewish elite running their country. So what evolved into Hitler actually did the same thing happened in World War II. The Germans were winning the war again, and they went to Hitler, the Rothschilds, and they tried to make the same deal with Hitler, but he said no. So they went to the English, and so the English brought America into the European theater. So
and parted my land.
So they, and like I just said, the way they parted, they used diversions so they could get the land.
Right.
So they created the UN in 1948. The UN recognized that the UN through a backdoor deal with the Rothschilds gave Jewish people the land of Israel. So the satanic United States government gave a land to a people who that land does not belong to.
Not the chosen people. That's right.
Read.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot.
So they would rape boys, just like religion.
Just like Columbus did. That's right.
Read.
And have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine.
Read.
That they might drink.
Read.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense?
Read.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Read.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
So the children also of Judah and of Jerusalem have ye sold to the Grecians. Who are the Grecians? The white man, the so-called European. So the Africans had a cabal with a secret pact with the Europeans. They would find the Israelites in Africa, and they would sell them to the Europeans for wine and guns and whatever. Read. No, hold on. Go to Obadiah. Obadiah 1 verse 10.
Okay. That would be this way, right? I think. Yeah. No, it's back the other way.
1:10.
Yeah, it's before Hosea, right? Oh, no. Isn't it right after Hosea?
No.
Oh, it's after Amos? Okay. All right, Obadiah. Okay, Obadiah where?
1 and 10.
All right, ready? Okay, Obadiah 1 verse 10. All right? Oh, Jonah, that's Jonah. Oh, Obadiah. That's only one page. All right, Obadiah 1:10. Here we go. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
So the Most High is going to judge these people who sought war against his people. Read.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
Read.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side.
So when you stood on the opposite side and watched my people be destroyed. Read.
In the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates.
Now, when the foreigners here is talking about 1948.
Come on.
Obadiah is given a way future prophecy of Gentiles coming into the land because read.
And cast lots upon Jerusalem.
So what they did? What?
Cast lots
upon Jerusalem.
Upon Jerusalem.
So the Europeans cast lots upon Jerusalem. That's why it's divided between the Arabs, the Jewish people, and Christians.
Even thou wast as one of them.
See, even the Jewish people who is Esau was one of them.
But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger.
So thy brother became a stranger. So he's talking to Esau, and he's saying, you shouldn't have looked narrowly upon your brother when he became
That's right.
when he lost his heritage, his land.
Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
So you shouldn't have partied and celebrated when you conquered your brother.
Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
So you shouldn't be in that land. You shouldn't be in the Holy Land.
That's right.
Read.
Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape.
So because we know the Romans butchered people when they tried to escape out of Jerusalem during the siege in 70 AD.
Wow. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
So you shouldn't have enslaved, you shouldn't have did what you did. So now go to Hebrews 13.
Okay.
Hebrews 13.
You're going to use the Bible? You want to use that one? Yeah. Where's your phone? Oh, it's charging.
Hebrews chapter 13.
Hebrews. 13. Hold on. 13. I got it. Okay. Hebrews 13. Okay. Oh, it's a short chapter. It's not too long. It's good. All right, Hebrews chapter 13. So let's be blessed. Let's ask the Most High to bless us tonight and bless the viewers. And so we can all be blessed. Hebrews 13. Service well pleasing to the Most High. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
So whenever you meet somebody and you're in their company, make sure you treat them good, because you could be speaking to an angel.
All right. Remember them that are in bondage.
So we are to remember the people that are in bondage or in slavery. Now, there's spiritual slavery to sin, and there's physical slavery, which is speaking about the children of Israel who are in slavery.
As bound with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourselves also in the body.
Read.
Marriage is honorable in all,
Right.
and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, the Most High will judge.
So God is going to judge people who use, who
run around with every different kind of woman.
Yeah, who
say they love the
don't
Lord.
treat the office of marriage or with respect.
Come on. Let your conversation be without covetousness.
So when people talk about us, people shouldn't be using be envy of us in the wrong reason.
Come on, that's right.
They shouldn't look at you and have reasons to talk down to you about the wrong, like he's using the pulpit to get rich.
Wow.
They shouldn't be coveting you for the wrong. They shouldn't be like they shouldn't be talking about you in a way that has nothing to do with the Bible.
Side, that's right. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content. Now, why would he say be content right after that?
Read.
Because if you're always talking about covetousness, you're always talking about something that you don't have that you want. And be content with such things as ye have. For he had said, I will never leave thee nor forsake you.
So what's that saying is we're not supposed to be coveting the world or the system.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, let's go to Matthew 6. Matthew 6. And
I got it. Treasures in heaven.
yeah, let's start with that, and I'm gonna also read. Hold on, Matthew 6 verse 19.
All right.
Matthew 6. Everybody, Matthew 6.
Everybody, Matthew 6:19. Everybody have? Hello.
Read.
Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth.
So that's what he's saying, being content.
Now this takes
Don't-
away all the
don't
faith
lay
teachers,
up.
right? Yeah.
Don't be focused on laying up physical things
That's right.
on earth.
And if you listen close to the word of faith teachers, they're in covetousness, and that's what they're doing. They're laying up treasures on earth. Watch what they're doing. Where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
Read.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your
Verse
heart
24,
be
Dad.
also.
Skip to verse 24.
Well, I read it right. I'm stopping my reading.
So read the verse again. Verse
For
20.
where your treasure is,
So where your focus is, or where your
that's
mind
right.
is,
When you're trying,
where you put your passions towards.
that's
read.
right. There will your heart, your mind be also.
Now go down to verse 24.
24. No man can serve two masters.
That's strong. No man can serve two masters
You
or
can't have
two
something
different.
right ruling over you.
Read.
For either he will hate the one and love the other,
Read.
or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
So basically, you're going to love one or hate the other, or you're going to just hold on to one and try to throw the other one away.
You could not serve the Most High and money.
You cannot serve God nor mammon, right?
Same thing.
So you can't serve, in other words, in another place in Scripture, it says that it says it talks about it talks about you can't serve basically what we just read about. You cannot serve God and money, or what shall a man give in
No. I know what scripture was.
what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
Nothing.
Right? Because
That's right.
what's that saying is, and that what that verse is saying is, you can't in this world, if you want to get anywhere in this world, you will have to sell your soul out to
right.
get anywhere.
Right.
Because that's the price of success.
That's right.
Read verse 25.
Okay, 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than remnant?
Read.
Okay. Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?
Read.
Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature?
Right.
And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon, in all his glory, was not arrayed like one of these.
So in other words, and that's not saying don't take care of yourself and
Right.
and dress raggedy and don't eat. What's that saying is, don't put your heart on what am I going to wear tomorrow? What am I going to eat tomorrow?
Right.
Or what am I going to live tomorrow? Right?
Right, that's good, Josh.
So
Okay.
go back to where
13.
Hebrews 13. I just want to read what I was talking about. This is Mark 5, Mark 8 verse 35.
If a man was to gain the whole world,
For
they lose his
whosoever
soul.
will save his life
Right.
shall lose it.
There you go.
But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the truth's sake shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he will gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
Wow.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
You can't exchange your soul for nothing. It's priceless.
So in other words, for you to get anywhere in this system, you have to sell your soul.
That's right.
You have to sign a contract.
Football players.
You have to sign up. So everyone that has gotten wealthy in this life, they're done with.
That's it. That's
Because when you have enormous when you sign up and this world makes you rich, most of the time you end up broke, sick, and with no followers.
That's true.
Once your career is finished, it's like you drop off the map.
Mm-hmm.
You get no more love because the system's done with you.
That's right. And that's the devil. He double crosses you. He gives you fame and fortune, and then you're finished.
First,
All
Hebrews
Hollywood have sold their souls. Everyone who's multimillionaires
13,
have sold their souls.
Hebrews 13, verse 6.
Okay, verse 6. Ready? So that we may boldly say, the Most High is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me.
So in other words, when we don't worry about these things, we can truly focus and trust on the Most High.
That's right, brother. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of the Most High.
So again, just like in Romans, when Paul wrote, pray for your leaders, right? Pray for the people over you.
Come on. That's right.
Now Paul is saying, remember those who have authority over you.
Come on.
Speaking about, remember,
The truth.
Paul was not speaking to or writing to unconverted people. He was speaking to people who were converts to the truth.
That's right.
He's
Who
not
kept the law.
He was nowhere in his letters telling nobody to pray for the government. I'm not gonna
Come on, John.
pray for someone who's gonna try to kill me.
That's right. With
In
their
fact,
food
I'm gonna
and their
try.
water.
I'm gonna pray that their kingdom falls.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pray the opposite. I'm gonna pray against them.
Whose faith follow, considering the end
So
of their conversation.
So we have to remember those who gave us the truth and pray for them. Right?
That's right, Josh. Come on. Christ the same yesterday and today and forever.
So the same Christ that we read about in the Old Testament is gonna, and the same Christ that came is coming back, and he's gonna judge and destroy the earth. Just like we read in Joel 3. He's gonna judge the nations for their oppression of his people.
That's right.
Okay. Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines.
Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines. That's deep.
Where are you?
Verse 8.
9.
Verse 9.
Be not carried about with diverse, like different and strange doctrines.
Wait.
Different, diverse. And
So, what's the Bible says? That's pretty much like saying, "Beware, lest any man deceive you."
That's right. That's right.
Because the Bible says, "Beware of false teachers."
Come on.
Who come to you in sheep's clothing, but
right.
inwardly are
wolves,
ravening wolves.
Come on, Josh.
Why? Because they use the Bible. They'll
money.
use this subtly, but they'll insert doctrines into it
Come on.
that the Bible doesn't teach.
That's right.
They'll
It twists the word, Josh.
like Christmas and
Mhm.
Easter, Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
holidays,
Come on.
eating unclean food.
That's right.
Those are all twisted. Sunday worship is all strange doctrines.
Excuse me. We have all exposed holidays. Every one of them are on our website. So you need to know this. You need to know about these holidays and go to our website and be blessed.
For it is for
It is a good thing that the mind be established
Uh-huh.
with grace,
Uh-huh.
not with meat,
Uh,
which have not prophesied,
profited them.
profited them, that have been occupied therein.
Thinking about it, that's right. We have an altar whereof they have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle. For the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp. Wherefore Yashayah, Mary, give me a pen. Wherefore Yashayah also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood. Thanks. with his own blood.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Josh, you want to finish that? Get blood.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Suffered without the gate.
Without the gate. Go ahead.
So he suffered outside of the city. When he was crucified, they crucified him outside of Jerusalem.
That's right.
Let us go forth, therefore, unto him without the camp,
That's right.
bearing his reproach.
All right.
Read.
For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. In other words, heaven. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Ahayah continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name.
To his what?
To his, look at that. His name is not Jesus. Okay.
So what is his
Look at
name?
that.
His name is Ahayah.
Yashayah, that's right.
Yashayah.
But to do good and to communicate, forget not. Don't forget to do that.
So to do good and to communicate or to speak well. Read.
For with such sacrifice, the Most High is well pleased.
Uh-huh.
Obey them that have the rule over you, and
Oh.
submit yourselves.
Wait. Oh, so obey them that have rule over you.
Come on.
Now, I'm not saying disobey the government because they can put you in prison.
No.
But this is not what this is talking about. Of course, we're to listen to the government. No, we're supposed to live by their rules so we can live in peace.
Right.
Obey them that are over you and have rule over you, and submit yourselves. So that's speaking about submitting yourself to the word and your apostle,
Watch.
or your teachers.
Yeah, watch out, because I'm gonna confirm what you're saying. Watch. For they watch for your souls. The government don't watch for your souls.
Uh-huh.
So he's got to be talking about
As
the
they
people.
that must give an account,
uh-huh.
that they may do it with joy
Wow.
and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you.
Wow.
Wow.
Pray
Not-
for us,
come on.
trust. We have good
Conscience. That's right.
in all things, willing to live honestly.
Willing to live honestly. But I
Uh-huh.
beseech you the rather to do this,
Uh-huh.
that I may be restored to you the sooner. Wow. Reconciliation and final greetings. Well, benediction. Now the power of peace that brought again from the dead our Most High Mashiach Christ, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant, make you perfect. Look at that. See, here's the word again. Wait, hold on. Make you what?
Perfect.
No, can't help it.
Make you what?
Perfect
In every what?
in every good work.
To do his will,
To do his law. Come on, John.
working in you that which is well pleasing in his sight.
Wow.
Through Yashayah HaMashiach, to whom be glory forever and ever.
I don't finish.
Amen.
And I beseech you, brethren, suffer the word of exhortation. In other words, push it out. For I have written a letter unto you in few words.
Uh-huh.
Know ye that our brother Timothy is set at liberty, with whom, if he come shortly, I will see you. Salute all them that have the rule over you. In other words, greet. Greet don't mean like the army salute.
Uh-huh.
It means greet. And all the saints, look at that, John, saints.
Uh-huh.
They of Italy salute you. Grace,
Italy.
Italy, same thing. Grace, okay, Mary, grace,
Praise be with you all. Amen.
so be it.
So Paul was probably in Rome while he wrote Hebrews.
Yeah, he sure was. He sure was.
Go to Deuteronomy 28:48.
All right. Deuteronomy where, Josh?
We're going to close with some
48, 38?
No.
30, 28,
28, 38, I'm sorry.
28, 48.
28, 48. All right. Like my book always goes right to Deuteronomy anyway. Almost, you know.
So Christ came to make us perfect and righteous and
That's
whole.
right. That's right.
like we read last night, reckon yourselves dead, not living, dead.
And if wait, hold on.
And Christ came to
Yeah.
destroy
There
the
you go.
body of sin.
So if you think for 1 minute that we're trying to say, like, you know, we can live perfect, well, the word says we can. But if we've been brainwashed into thinking that we can't, then our mind has to be renewed, right, Josh? Right, Mary? Renew
Reverse
your mind.
Deuteronomy 28 and 46.
All right, hold on. 46. I got it. 42, 46. Ready? Everybody have it?
Uh-huh.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So, again, like we read Joel 3, verse 5, and Obadiah 1, 11 through 13, the sign, the way we identify the children of Israel is we read the Bible and look for the signs or the prophecies that pertain to what would befall them.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So
and,
people will wonder at how these people fell.
and upon thy seed for sometimes.
For what?
For a couple of months.
Verse 48.
Forever. 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Thy what?
Thine enemies.
Thy friends.
Thine enemies.
So the God said that his people would serve their enemies, not rule over their enemies, but serve their enemies. What people in America seem like they're just destined to be servants.
Wow.
Actually, let's read that. Hold that, Jeremiah 2:14. Then we'll go right back, and I want to finish. And
Jeremiah 2:14.
like we said last night, you can come out of sin, and we're going to read that before we close tonight. I want to show you and encourage you that you can live perfect.
You can.
It's
up to you.
Christ said, "Be ye perfect."
That's right.
Why would he command you to do something that you cannot
maybe,
do?
wait, hold on. Maybe you got a different terminology what that means. I don't know,
Jeremiah,
I don't see it.
right? Exactly, Dad.
I don't see that.
You
Is there
have
another
to.
terminology, Josh?
You have to turn. You have to believe that you can be before you will be.
It's simple. It is. Okay, what is Josh?
Jeremiah 2:14.
All right, Jeremiah 2:14. Okay.
He actually asked me a question.
Yeah. Is Israel a servant?
Is Israel what?
Is Israel a servant?
So is Israel just meant to be a servant?
Is he a homeborn slave?
So is the African, the Judites and the northern kingdom just meant to be a slave forever?
Why is he spoiled?
Well, now let's go back to Deuteronomy. Let's see why they spoiled.
All right, Deuteronomy 1.
28:48.
All right. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
And in what?
In thirst.
So in hunger, in other words, you'll Walmart, you'll go to
You always go to the white
you'll
man.
go to the Chinese restaurants,
That's right.
the
Walmart,
Japanese restaurants,
Golden Corral.
uh,
Places where they
all
all
the
sell
Arab
pork.
food markets to read.
go good. Shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
So
and in want.
nakedness is speaking about your clothes.
Come on.
You'll buy your clothes from your enemy. Read. So and in want of all things, your education.
Come on.
Your money you'll get from your enemy. Your government leaders will never be on your side. They'll always work for your enemy.
Wow.
And your religious organizations are empty cisterns.
You sure are.
Actually,
you sure are.
I just want to read something right fast. Right. Hold that in Deuteronomy.
All right.
I just want to read. I came over this right fast. This is Jeremiah 5 and 7. How shall I pardon you for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and have sworn by them that are no gods. When I have fed them to the full, then they committed adultery and assembled themselves by the troops in the harlot houses. That's your churches.
Wow. And praising a pagan god on Sunday. What a shame. What a shame. How our people are perishing for a lack of wisdom. But you don't have to.
Jeremiah, now this is Jeremiah 2:13. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters.
Come on.
And have hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns.
Come on.
That can hold no
water.
water.
That's right.
That's speaking about your churches. That's why you always
There's no substance there.
Notice
When you hear
how
something, it goes right through you.
you notice how you always, a lot of people always jump from church to church.
Yep, yep.
That's the proof of Jeremiah 7, 2 and 13.
That's right.
If you really were getting the truth from a church, you stay there. You wouldn't leave there.
That's right.
Not saying, and you would actually learn something about yourself there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you stay in a church doesn't mean they're giving you the truth.
That's right. Come on, Josh.
That just means you can become docile and you just believe that's what the reality is.
Wow.
Deuteronomy 28 and 48. And
he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
so that yoke came off
When you
after
got
the
to
Civil
America.
War,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
and you were destroyed.
Wow.
Now that you can always, I believe you can come back together as a community and
Mhm.
build an economy
Yeah.
within an economy.
Yeah, I believe that too.
But you have to do it biblically.
And
You have to come
unity. You have no unity with your people. You all have an evil eye against each other. And if you can't admit that, then you can never do what we believe that you can do.
The Most High shall bring a nation against thee
Who's that?
from far,
Who's that?
from the end of the earth,
America.
as
That's the
swift
rock.
as the eagle,
The eagle is
Fly
their
it.
sign. That's
a
right.
nation in whose tongue
Mhm.
thou shalt not
When
understand.
you got here, you didn't understand anybody here.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, or shew favor to the young.
Wow.
Deuteronomy 28 and 63.
Okay.
I'll read it.
You got it, Josh?
63, everybody. Deuteronomy 28 and 63, everybody out there.
Go ahead, Josh.
And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good
Uh-huh.
and multiply you, so shall the Most High rejoice over you to destroy you,
Uh-oh.
to destroy you,
Rejoice.
to destroy
He's
you,
going to be happy to do it.
and to bring you to naught,
Uh-oh.
and to bring you to naught.
Wow.
What people seem like they're just destined to be nothing or not.
Wow.
Whither thou goest to possess it. And the Most High shall scatter thee among the all people, from the one end of the earth to even unto the other.
Come on.
And thou shalt serve other gods,
Uh-oh.
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and
The
stone,
pagan Christian cross and the Mecca stone,
the Kaaba
the
stone.
Kaaba stone.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Come on.
Continual persecution, financially,
Come on.
economically,
That's
educationally, police brutality, no ease.
Wow.
And unto the neither shall the soles of thy foot find rest. For the Most High shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
Wow.
So you'll have the highest rate of heart trouble, mental diseases, right?
That's right.
Read verse 66.
Okay.
What people does this,
Huh.
can you show, does this fit the Jewish, this does not fit
This
Jewish
don't fit the
people.
white Jews. And thy life shall hang.
And I'm not saying all people don't have heart disease and mental problems,
We have
but
most.
statistically, what people suffer from these maladies the most.
That's right. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
And thy what?
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
You can't show me a people that their life is consistently in doubt, whether it's within their own house, instability in the home,
That's right.
whether it's from the police, whether it's educationally, they're not being taught anything,
Wow.
criminally. You can't tell me of one people that statistically fits this, but the so-called Negroes and Hispanics. Well, and I don't. People say, "Well, I've heard this." Well, the Hispanics aren't the Israelites because or Mexicans aren't the Israelites because they have Mexico. No, the people that indwelled Mexico, Central America, and South America were Israelites. Yes, they came here and they possessed this land, but they had a culture preceding the culture that they were given by the European, the Portuguese, and the Spaniards. They are the Israelites from the Northern Kingdom. Even in the let me show you a book. This book that was written by a Jewish scholar, Ronald Sanders, The Lost Tribes in the Promised Land. If you get this and you read on page 364, an explorer called Montesinos discovered that the Indians in New York were actually Israelites because they addressed him with the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Most High, our God is one, or Shema, Yashayah, Ahayah, alahayahnawa, acaad in the Paleo Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, I want to encourage you with this. Let me read that. Page 364. Page 364. Having a page 364 in Lost Tribes in the Promised Land. Having a banner high in the air, an Indian guide soon was greeted by a pole, a puff of smoke beyond the bank of a river. In response of his signal, two men waited eventually and came. A cone appeared having 3 men. A canoe appeared having 3 men and a woman, all of them Indian, to the place where Francisco and Montesinos were standing. The woman got off the canoe and spoke to Francisco in an Indian tongue that Montesinos could not understand, although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation. She then turned to her companions to explain to the situation. Upon hearing her words, they rose and said, and went over to Montesinos, and to his utter astonishment said, Shema yashrarlla, Ahayah, alahayahnawa, acaad. Hear, O Israel, the Most High, our God is one. Now, of course, it doesn't, because they have this in Yiddish, and Yiddish is not the Hebrew tongue. Yiddish is a conglomerate tongue of Turkish and Slavic tongues. A brief conversation then ensued in the common ancestral tongue, according to Montesinos, frequently the reader then of the narrative, as to of his mysterious new companions. They told him that they were themselves of the tribe of Reuben, and the tribe of Joseph lived on an island nearby. So that proves that the Native Americans are the Israelites and the Hispanics. Read verse 67.
All right, 67. Oh, where are we? Okay. 67. Okay, I got it. I got 67. Okay. In the morning thou shalt say, would Ahayah it were even? And at evening thou shalt say, would Ahayah it were morning? For the fear of thine mind wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
Read.
And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now Egypt is bondage or captivity.
Come on, that's right.
That's Exodus 20 verse 1 and Exodus 13.
That's
where
right.
Where it confirms that.
Again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
So what people historically were ever brought one place to another on ships to a whole nother part of the hemisphere?
Thou shalt see it no more again.
So you won't see your true ancestral land again. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Right.
For bondmen.
You shall be sold unto your enemies.
Not your friends. And bondwomen. And no man shall buy you. In other words, save you.
Right.
Okay. Or you wanted to end with something? You said in 1 John 3.
I want to, bring that again.
You want to go to that?
Yeah.
Now?
Just listen. Yeah. 1 John 3 and 5.
All right. 1 John, the epistle. 1 John 3. Yeah, you can get it right. Tony?
1 John 3 and 5, everybody.
I don't want to just.
And we know that he was
I'll
manifested
get the wine. Get
to take away our sin, and in him is no sin. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever abideth in Christ.
In other words, abide means
stays.
Stays. Look, stays doing what he wants you to do.
Sinneth not.
That's
Whosoever sinneth hath not seen or known him. Little children, let no man deceive you. Let him that doth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous.
That's right.
He that committeth sin is of the devil. He that committeth sin is of the devil. He that committeth sin is of the devil.
Come on.
For the devil sinneth from
The beginning.
From this purpose was the Son of the Most High manifested, that he might destroy the works of Satan.
Okay.
Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin. Get it through your mind. For his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of the Most High.
Awesome. So we want to say that we know that we worship with angels on the Sabbath. Christian church can't claim that. They don't worship with angels on Sunday because it's not the holy day. There is only one holy day a week.
Are good, well-meaning people in the church.
Oh yeah,
but
they sure
they
are.
have to know the truth.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And we're not here to condemn anyone.
Again, let me show you the books that we read out of. Hebrews to Negroes.
Wake Up, Black America.
Ronald Dalton Jr. And
Awesome book.
by a Jewish scholar, Ronald Sanders. So with all that said, we say Shalom.
Shalom.